Clarence Stepdad here. I've been busy doing a lot of research on things for certain issues that have been happening in my life. But I came across something that I found interesting in my local state's code about veterans and Veterans Day. Pull it up. It's this section. But it states an employer shall provide each employee who is a veteran, as defined in section 35.1, which I'll show you in a bit, with holiday time off for Veterans Day, as an employee would otherwise be required to work on that day in the section. An employer in compliance with this section shall have discretion of providing paid or unpaid time off on Veterans Day unless providing time off would impact public health or safety or would cause the employer to experience significant economic or operational disruption. So in my review of that is, if the company is not going to be company or public and the public is not going to be harmed, it's a must. No ifs, ands, or buts. The employer has to give a veteran Veterans Day off. And the employee shall provide the employer with at least a month prior written notice of the employee's intent to take time off for Veterans Day, and shall also provide the employer with a federal certificate of release or discharge from active duty or such similar federal documents for purpose of determining the employee's eligibility for the benefit provided in the section, which is like the 214s and an actual certificate saying honorable discharge. I can't remember the actual form name off the top of my head. The employer shall at least 10 days prior to Veterans Day notify the employee if the employee shall be provided paid or unpaid time off on Veterans Day. The employer determines that the employer if the employer determines that the employer is unable to provide time off for the Veterans Day or for all employees who request time off, the employer shall deny time off to the minimum number of employees needed by the employer to protect public health and safety or to maintain minimum operational capacity as applicable. So pretty much, well, if you're not a doctor, firefighter, police officer, and they do not need you, they can give you Veterans Day off. Now, the 1 month prior written notice is not always necessary. I mean, who I work for, I could actually request it like at the beginning of the month. To at the beginning of the month just to take the time off. And I'll tell you this much: not all employers in my state knows. My supervisor did not know this. So, and I don't know if all states have this or just my state. And if you live in Iowa, you can bring this up to your employers. It's Iowa Code 91A. And as you see, it's 91A.5A. Now, before you go and actually talk to it, this is a list of who the state has deemed veterans as of when this section was made. Pretty much, well, anyone on honorable discharge, like World War II, Operation in Germany, pretty much a lot of the wars. But it's like occupation of Germany. It has got the dates: 19 American Expeditionary Force, Serbia, Siberia, Second Haitian Suppression. A lot of these are probably not gonna be. Some of these individuals are not gonna be around. I mean, World War II, that's it, but Korean conflict, Vietnam, Lebanon or Grenada, Panama service, Persian Gulf conflict. From the House the United States Congress enacted date different from August 2nd. Yeah, former members of the Reserve Forces of the United States who served at least 20 years in the Reserve Forces and who were discharged on honorable position. However, members of the Reserve Forces of the United States who completed a minimum aggregated of any days of federal active duty other than training and was discharged under honorable conditions or was retired under Title 10 of the United States Code shall be included as a veteran. Former members of the National Guard who served 20 years and the same 90 days active duty besides training or under Title 10. Former members of active duty on ocean going merchant marines who served during World War II. Former members of the Women's Air Force Service. Pilots as more World War II. And like a lot of these individuals that they have here, and this members of the Reserve Forces of the United States who served at least 20 years of service in force who continue to serve in Reserve Forces. Members of the Iowa National Guard who have served at least 20 years in that. Yeah, going on and on. But yes, they don't include those who just went to basic and quit. Which I know a lot of people who claim themselves to be veterans after just going to basic training have quit and are not going to be happy about that status. But since I was deployed and served 18 years, the deployment makes me a veteran under the Iowa standards, which is always a good thing, in my opinion. I understand that there's those that have finished on contract to never deployed that would be upset with this statement, which I can see that they would not include National Guard that. Well, actually, no, they would include National Guard because they would be activated for natural disasters. But the reservists would not get any. Well, reservists who have not served active duty would not be considered a veteran under this section. However, I think I might actually have a redress on this to include those who've actually served like at least 2 years of reserve status to count as a veteran. I'm not, or those medically discharged after basic. Medical discharge is the other. It's different than someone who just want to get out. Those who were injured during training, which caused them not to be able to continue in the service, would need to be also considered a veteran because it was beyond their control, prevented them from continuing to be able to serve. Those that just gave up for basic, gave up, did not want to continue in the military because the way basic was, don't deserve the title better. Those who wanted to continue but got injured to the point where they could not continue in the military deserves the title of veteran. However, it may take a while for things like this to change. But this shows that the state of Iowa cares about veterans' ability to take the day off that they've earned. And I will see you in